Hi everybody. So yes, again it is hot as balls, so if you see my hair blowing around it is because of the fan. There's a nice breeze outside, but we're still inside and it's quite warm in here. And again, is that dirt on my face or is that dirt on my camera? I can't quite tell. Yeah, you want to hear something weird? There was this little spider in my car and it kind of fell down and I saw it crawling around beside me, in the window and stuff. And then I was just, hanging out in my car eating breakfast, and I feel this little tickle, and I see this little dot on my face start to move, and I realize there's something crawling on my face. So I just go, and I blew the spider in that direction, and it landed on the edge of my window. And I looked at it, and I kind of saw that it was outside, so I rolled up my window, and then for some reason it was just like scrabbling away at the glass. I took a little video of that. So very weird. Very weird thing to have happen. I don't know why it was so excited to try and come back into my car, but it was really digging away at that glass. All right, anyway, that's my weird story for this morning. So GARBAUGUST is coming. We have another, what's today, the 23rd? 24th. So another week from tomorrow is the start of GARBAUGUST. And I will probably make another video about what I read through July, which wasn't very much. The last month has been pretty rough on me. And just, an update. Obviously losing my job was pretty rough. But I have been offered another one, so hopefully, fingers crossed, this one turns out well. If you have any, good vibes left after the end of the month, then just try to send them my way. And my eviction hearing did not go well, so double good vibes I'm gonna need for the next few weeks at least. Which brings me to GARBAUGUST. I am very excited, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be able to finish reading, because I always have like a long list of books that I don't manage to finish. But I am going to tell you some of the books that I have planned based on the the list. So just hang on one second. I'm going to grab the list. So I've slowly been packing, and one of the books that I found was this thing. It is a silhouette romance, and it's called The Boss's Special Delivery by Ray Morgan. And it says it's part of the Boardroom Brides miniseries. So I have no idea beyond that. And unfortunately there are ads in the back, but not for cigarettes. They're for other books. And so therefore do not fulfill that part of the bingo card, but at least there are some ads. So I'll try to get that read for the first week. So the first week is men's adventure or romance. Now, I am going to make an argument here that the Sexecutioner series does count as men's adventure. Now, the reason I suggest that is that Cherry Delight is pretty much Mac Bolan with boobs. I mean, the series was pretty much written as a response to and to cash in on the popularity of books like The Executioner, the Mac Bolan series. So it only makes sense that she's a female version of that character. And the books are very, very much, they're very much aimed at men. Come on. I'm trying to get this. So take a look at the cover of the fourth book. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Silverfinger. And it is literally boobs and a gun. I mean, it can't appeal more to men. And unfortunately, the original covers for these were just tremendously pulpy. I can't find the... Let me see if I can find the original Silverfinger cover from the 70s, sorry. So anyway, oh, there it is. So that was the original cover. The original cover looked like this. Oop. So I don't know if you can see that again. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'll read Silverfinger, but I do have the Italian Connection, and I also have Tongue-in-Cheek, and these also count as vintage sleeves, or vintage smut, I guess, and they also count as written under a pseudonym, because Gardner Francis Fox wrote these, I believe, under the name Glenn Chase, if I'm not mistaken. He wrote a lot of books under a lot of different names. So, another book. All right. So week one is men's adventure or romance. Week 2 is vintage smut, which we've pretty much covered with the Cherry Delight series. But there's a lot more that Gardner Francis Fox wrote. I also have a book lined up. The series is called The Lady from LUST. I'm not sure what LUST stands for. And they have such titles as Lust Be a Lady Tonight. And the one that I picked up was Laid in the Future. Because apparently she travels through time to accomplish whatever mission she is. And she is a spy in the James Bond vein. And her spy name is 00 Sex. So, like, the more I read about these books, the more hilarious they get. The other one that I'm curious but also really, really, really reticent about that Gardner Francis Fox wrote is this one. I haven't downloaded it yet because it's not on Kindle. Sorry, it's on the website. I don't know if you can see that. It's called the Stonehenge Slaves. And apparently plantation porn was something of a thing in the 60s. And these slaves are enslaved for purposes other than just being free labor. Through a modern lens, it's pretty horrifying when you think about it. But I haven't quite decided if I'm going to read that one, because I think what I would like to do with a book like that is try to find sort of an opposite viewpoint, or a viewpoint that gives me a more academic look at why these books were popular outside of racism and fantasy. Things like the white gaze and the treatment of African American men as sex objects and so on. So obviously I'm curious about it, but at the same time, a little bit wary of the very, very racist subtext, or not even subtext at that point. All right. Another series of books that hang on one sec. Now, I had introduced you to Paperback Crush, which talks about the series, largely romance-based, aimed at teenage girls in the 80s, 90s, and early aughts. So I have picked up Double Love, which is the first of the Sweet Valley High books. And that one checks off a bingo card because there were over 100 books. There were something like 189 books in that series, all told. So I'll be reading that. Actually, I've started reading that one, because when I should be reading other stuff, I find myself reading that. It's like, oh, no, I can read the manual for my new job tomorrow. I'm going to read the non-boring stuff. A couple more books that I found that are interesting, just may or may not. Sex and the City, Valley of the Dolls. Very, very trashy books. Again, I don't know if I'll get to them, but I have them. And week number Oh yeah, so week 2 is also Paperbacks from Hell. Now I had picked this one up last year, Little People. Never did get around to finishing it, so I'm hoping I'll get it done this year. Week 3 will be a novelization. Now, or a book written by a famous person. Now, I ordered this one because I was hoping to give you a twofer. On Amazon, it's listed as having been written by Britney Spears, or co-written by Britney Spears herself. But she is not credited on the book. The book is credited to Jenny Marcus, but it's also from the screenplay by Shonda Rhimes, and Shonda Rhimes is famous, so I'm still going to call this a novelization written by a celeb. And the reason I picked this one, I mean, obviously because Crossroads, ridiculously. I can't find the film anywhere. It's not available to download or stream or anything anywhere. But Jamie Francis did a pretty funny review of it, probably in the last year or so. So it's pretty good. It gives a pretty good overview of what happens and, just how silly the book is. And another thing that I think that we should look at as far as trash books is stills from the movie. If stills from the movie are included in the book, I think that's, a pretty good indication of how trashy it is. My copy of Carrie has movie stills as well. Alrighty. Another book that I have is Jeff Strand in April released Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, a full novelization of that ridiculous film. I don't know if you ever saw the film. I did way back, probably in the 80s. And he just released a novelization of it. So I have that one on Kindle ready to go. 2 other books that I grabbed that are not precisely novelizations. They're, I guess TV Tropes calls them defictionalizations. What defictionalization is it's something that exists in a fictional universe that then becomes a product in our universe. So, for example, the red stapler from Office Space, or the Dwight Schrute bobblehead from The Office, or so on. And these books are, they sort of somewhat exist in the TV universe, but the series of murder mysteries by Jessica Fletcher, about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, they went on sale over on Chirp. Now, one more time, I'm not affiliated with Chirp. I'm not sponsored by Chirp, but I absolutely love Chirp audiobooks. There's no fee anytime, and they have weekly deals on many, many, many books. And so I've picked up a lot of really, really good books for, like $5 American, right? So it's very much worth your time if you like audiobooks, and there's never a subscription fee. Always lots of deals. So a few months ago, they put a bunch of the Jessica Fletcher murder mysteries up for $2.99 a piece. So I grabbed Coffee, Tea, or Murder. And you got to say it like that. Coffee, tea, or murder. And unfortunately, so far, it's so boring. I'm not enjoying it at all. And the other book that I picked up for the novelization, again, I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it or even get to it, but I did, I recently binge watched all of the series Castle. And the ridiculous premise is that this writer goes around with a New York City homicide squad, which never in a million years, but whatever. Okay, we'll willingly suspend our disbelief. The insurance alone, like, come on. Anyway. So, throughout the course of the series, Castle writes a series of books about a lady cop by the name of Nikki Heat. And these books are, and they actually did produce a series of books called Nikki Heat. So the first one is Nikki Heat, and then there's like Heat on Ice, and then there's a whole bunch of them anyway. And at least the first 4 or 5 are on Kindle Unlimited. So if you're interested in, a police procedural based on a fictional character in a TV series, it gets pretty meta after a while. So I do have that one ready to go. And then week 4 is Anything Goes. I have downloaded KU. They have Richard Lehman's traveling vampire show. So, sexy vampires. I guess. I don't know. I haven't read it. Now, a couple other ones that are on the list. Killer Kids. I have The Other by Tom Tryon. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it. And I also have The Midwich Cuckoos, which is a much shorter book, but I'm not sure they actually kill anybody. Another book, and these are based on, obviously based on Moral Panic. I found my copy of Go Ask Alice. And I also ordered Jay's Journal, because apparently the titular Jay gets involved with a satanic cult. So we've got Satan, we've got cults. But I don't know if you consider that a conspiracy or not, but he spirals into some terrible things, which, as we know, are not at all. What little is based in fact is not at all like what actually happened. But we love our Beatrice Sparks because they're just so incredibly trashy. Alright, now I'm not sure what else is on the list. The bingo card. So Jackie Collins. Now last year I read Chances. So this year I'm going to be reading Lucky. And the first few books on the San Angelo series are on Kindle Unlimited. So if you can't find any Jackie Collins on Kindle Unlimited, look up the San Angelo series. They might be. And Lucky, Chances, those two books were combined into a mini-series in 1990. So that's one of the bingo cards as well. And there are so many sleazy books. Sidney Sheldon. There was that book Lace by, I can't remember the author's name. It's something that begins with a C. Shauna something. Anyway, she delivered the fantastic line, "Which one of you bitches is my mother?" One of the all-time great miniseries melodramatic lines. And there were a lot of books that were made into miniseries in the 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s. Okay, so Shifter Romance. Now I have Kissing the Coronavirus, and I also have a book. Talk about your weirdly specific subgenres. It is a M.M. Preg book where this guy goes into some kind of snake pit and becomes impregnated with some kind of egg. So hopefully he'll deliver during the course of the book. And that's one I've picked up. Nudity on the cover. I mean, take your pick of all the books by Gardner Francis Fox. Book about gangs I don't have. An exclamation point in the title I don't have. Killer Animal, Jilly Cooper I do not have. Vigilante book, while the Sexecutioner is a vigilante. Step cover, I haven't found one. I'm sure there's got to still be one somewhere on my shelf there. Video game, Ashamed to Read in Public. Yeah, the Stonehenge slaves, that would be very embarrassing, as would probably most of the smutty books. Green on the cover, V.C. Andrews. I haven't quite decided on those, but the V.C. Andrews book, I read all of the Flowers in the Attic series, and I'm seriously considering picking up one of the sequels. There's one called The Secret Brother, which apparently one of the characters that was supposed to have died actually did not die and came back, which was a plot point used in Seeds of Yesterday as well. So kind of multiple, self-ripping off kind of stuff. So I think Garbaugust is going to be great. And like I said, I did indeed buy a ukulele. So we're going to get a little bit of our music on. But I am terrible at playing this thing. It's still pretty cute. But there is something, I think, inherently trashy about playing the ukulele instead of, you know, making proper content. So I will leave you with just a little, ooh, that needs to be tuned again. And yes, I have been very slowly learning how to tune it so it doesn't sound like absolute crap. But yes, you might see a little bit more of my little pink friend here. Hope you're reading lots of horror. Hope you'll join us for Garb August. Have a great day.